Lauren. Ljungberg. This is room for Reyes. Kirali, the Hungarian goalkeeper for Crystal Palace, getting his body right behind that one. Palace will be concerned about the room afforded to Jose Reyes there. Falls kindly for Arsenal here. Henry, now Reyes. Watson coming back to make the challenge. Henry! Kirali, the goalkeeper, was beaten by Thierry Henry's effort here. So was the post. Reyes here. Cole making a run down the near side. Space to wide right. Fabregas choosing the wrong option on that occasion, but still able to get a second chance. Henry still able to get the shot in from what was an acute angle. Always rising over the top. That's neatly done by Kulka. Now Watson picking out Hughes. Johnson makes his run. Hughes, I think, was looking for support outside on that far side on the left. Oh, terrific ball in there towards Kulka. Now it's with Andrew Johnson. Seagon able to just gain that half a yard. Oh, and Jens Lehmann nearly caught out. Could so easily have ricocheted into the back of the net. Cole. Toure. Ljungberg to his right, might not need him. Saved by Kirali. Had the space to run. Saw the opening, very nearly found the gap. But if it can stay at 0-0 at half-time, then Ian Dowie, I imagine, would be a happy man. Still something left in the first half, though. Henry looking across there for the on-running Freddie Ljungberg. And Arsenal close to making the breakthrough with half-time rapidly approaching. Ljungberg a whisker away. Henry so close to being in there against Ledgerwood, who concedes the corner. Seagan comes up for this one. Kolo Toure making a late run towards the area, and Seagan nearly in there at the near post. A header goalward and over the top from Pires. Seagan going for it there first, and finally Pires over the top. Reyes. Arsenal just can't find a way through. Toure. Now Ljungberg. Watched closely by Granville and Kulka. Oh, that's neatly done. Slide rule pass in there to Ljungberg. It's opening up here. And at last Arsenal do score, and Henry couldn't miss from a yard. Crystal Palace's stubborn resistance finally broken just after the hour mark. Ljungberg into the penalty area. Henry holding his ground, and the Palace defence finally sliced open. Has that taken the air out of Crystal Palace's collective balloon? Can they raise themselves and get back into the game? Now Johnson. This is Lakis. Johnson running into the penalty area. Good play by Lakis. Riolati! And Arsenal's lead barely lasted 2 minutes. And we do have a game here after all. Crystal Palace just never give up. And it was the perfect reply to Thierry Henry's opener for Arsenal. Aki Riolati. And what a terrific final 25 minutes we have in prospect now. And didn't he enjoy that? Now, here comes Younes Kolka. Oh, what a brilliant block there by Kolo Touré. Arsenal suddenly are involved in a real scrap here. Hughes looking for Andrew Johnson. Ashley Cole desperately careful not to concede a penalty. Oh, and how did he miss that? What a chance for Lakis. What an opportunity. Arsenal really stretched Ashley Cole, conscious of not trying to concede the penalty, and what a chance. Crystal Palace should be in front here. That says it all. He knows there won't be many more chances like that. Touré forward now for Arsenal. Good forward play. This is Pires, and a timely challenge by Emerson Boyce. Arsenal threatening once again, but Emerson Boyce conceding the corner. Arsenal take it short. Here's Henry, trying to tee up Fabregas. Oh, good save by Kirali. A really meaty shot there from Fabregas. Set up nicely by Henry, at a clear sight. This is Seaman. Ledgerwood picking out Andrew Johnson and continuing his run. Kolka's waiting at the far post too. Ledgerwood with a header. Whoa, that one had Jens Lehmann scrambling. Crystal Palace still full of hard running here. Johnson turned provider this time, and Ledgerwood with the final header. Arsene Wenger, who has had better fortnights than the one he's just endured, and it's not quite finished yet. And Percy didn't need much room to manoeuvre there. Oh, good save by Kirali. An uncommon scuff by Thierry Henry. Scruffy defending too by Palace, but it's fallen for them. Hughes. Lakis, I think, wasn't expecting that. Andy Johnson, the only player up forward. Johnson on the chase. Lehmann's ball. Van Persie doing well to carve out an opportunity for himself. Good stop by the Hungarian international keeper. Now, is Johnson going to be in here? Good defending by Laurent. Did really well there for Arsenal. Popovic under pressure. Van Persie could be in. Oh, good goalkeeping by Kirali. Well, that was an anxious moment there for Crystal Palace. Popovic beaten by the bounce. Persie in right behind him, but Kirali acrobatically to the rescue. Reyes trying to get Ashley Cole away, but Lakis is there for Crystal Palace. And he's done well, and Andrew Johnson could be away here, and this could be Palace's chance to win it. And Johnson's still going, oh, and showed too much to Kolo Touré. Andrew Johnson, who will feel he had an opportunity there to wrap up the points for Crystal Palace, possibly.
There was two sort of streams to our game. I thought there was a stream of toughness, of desire and hunger to defend all through the game. I thought second half we showed that we can pass and play. I thought our movement and desire to get on the end of things and to keep the ball on the floor was very pleasing. So we delighted the way in which we played second half, delighted the way we defended the whole game.
They came quickly back to 1-1, and I feel even they had a great chance to score the second one. And from then on, we gave absolutely everything, and at the moment we are a little bit less sharp and physically, and Crystal Palace is in a very good period physically, and that made the difference.
3 games without a victory in the Premiership, that doesn't happen very often for Arsenal, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's why everyone is speculating about it. But at the end of the day, you know, also you can take it on the other side, 3 games without losing. Even though I know that everyone is expecting us to all the time do better, but we accept that. We know that we can do better.
It's a great feeling. I mean, I'm not used to scoring goals, so I'm not sure if it's going to happen again. But I'm just going to enjoy it as long as it lasts. So it's a great point. That's the most important thing.
I thought we had to play at absolute maximum to keep in the game. So, you know, our thoughts are that we've developed and improved, and we're an emerging side, so they've got to take a lot of belief out of this.
They made it difficult for us, and you have to respect that. At the end of the season, we'll see if it was a good point or a bad point. Today, I think Crystal Palace deserves a lot of credit.
3 wins and a draw against Arsenal in recent weeks, Crystal Palace. Are you ready to alter your view, amend it slightly?
I really should have listened to you, because you know more about the bottom than I do, but it is an amazing transformation. It really is. You know, I made that judgment the first 4 games of the season where they were absolutely awful, but to be fair to Ian Dowie, he changed the goalkeeper, he's got them organised defensively, they play with tremendous team spirit, they got 1 or 2 decent results, and you can see the confidence just coming through the team. And when it came back to 1-1, it wasn't as though Arsenal on top. You know, Palace had their fair share of chances, but obviously the foundation is there now. Defensively, they're very strong, and the keeper makes save after save. And you know, at critical times, this is Fabregas, the keeper. Corrali sees this very, very late. You know, holds on to it. Then Van Persie comes inside here. I think this is a fantastic save. Low down, absolutely brilliant. And if you've got that behind you, then you're going to have lots and lots of confidence.
It wasn't just a rearguard action, though. I mean, Palace had their chances as well, I mean, especially the one over the bar.
Well, yeah, but they were very, very good, in fact, organised defensively, but very, very quick on the break as well. And every time they got forward, this is an unbelievable chance for Lakis. What a chance that is. But again, you know, Johnson running around the back of people.
He's a handful.
He's a real handful in the end. It's an excellent tackle by, I think that was Toure on this occasion. We could have put 5 or 6 different examples of this. Here he is again trying to get through, and this time it's Lauren. And I'll tell you what Arsenal do for me. This shows you what a good team they are. 3 passes forward. The boys let it bounce. In the end, Van Persie has a great chance. It's another good save by Corrali, but it's a great chance for Arsenal.
Yeah, the Palace players take a lot of credit, but the manager's brilliant. You know, to have a turnaround the way that he has done is absolutely phenomenal.
He's always had that belief in them as well.
You know.
Let's switch it to Arsenal. How much, if anything, should we read into this slump, shall we describe it?
Well, they're definitely missing Sol. They're definitely missing Sol Campbell, who has been like a rock, their foundation. I think they've still got a hangover from Old Trafford. That's gone on too long. And also, the other thing that didn't happen last season, they didn't come in under any pressure from Championship challenges. This time, Chelsea are piling on the pressure, and the signs are the sign of the great sides are the ones that can get back and get back quickly. And unfortunately for Arsenal at the minute, like Wenger says, not as sharp as they were earlier on in the season, not that typical fluency of Arsenal, and that they're finding it difficult to break down the opposition.
The other question mark as well is Sol Campbell, not his fitness. His contract's up at the end of the season. There's a poser.
Back to Spurs. Now, announced at the Barclays Premiership table. For the first time since January, Arsenal are not the Premiership leaders. Chelsea's win against Everton sends them 2 points clear of the Gunners at the top. Villa were the only other side in the top half to win. They rise to 6th. Bolton can go 3rd with a win at Middlesbrough tomorrow, while Manchester United will look to make up ground on the top 2 when they play Manchester City. Blackburn stay at the foot of the table after snatching a point at Norwich, who stay in 19th. Southampton and West Brom also remain in trouble after sharing the points at St Mary's. Palace are now 4 points clear of the relegation zone, while Birmingham rise to 14th. So, There you have it. Chelsea lead the way thanks to Robin, the boy wonder. Good night.
After Arsenal made 11 changes from the side that drew 1-1 at Crystal Palace, it was Everton that settled the quicker. And when James McFadden's direct approach won Everton a free kick on the edge of the box, Thomas Gravesen made the most of a slight deflection off Jermaine Pennant. Everton's early lead came at a price though, as Marcus Bent was forced off through injury, while Arsenal lost Ryan Smith midway through the first half. But the decision to replace him with Quincy Owusu-Abiyi proved to be a masterstroke, as within minutes he began terrorising the Everton back line. And the 18-year-old didn't have to wait much longer for his first Arsenal goal, thanks to Pennant's accurate through ball. Almost immediately, Robin van Persie had the chance to give Arsenal the lead. But although Arsenal were looking the better side, Everton could still have gone ahead before half-time. Alessandro Pastoni not quite finding the finish. Arsenal, though, always looked the more dangerous, as Arsene Wenger's youngsters showed they can score goals of genuine quality. Owusu-Abiyi the instigator this time, before Lupoli provided the finish. And if it wasn't Owusu-Abiyi causing Everton problems, then it was Jermaine Pennant's distribution, or the left foot of Robin van Persie. And as Everton struggled to mount a meaningful attack, Arsenal wrapped things up when Owusu-Abiyi laid on Lupoli's second of the night. The young Italian already a big hit with the Highbury fans, but it was the contribution of Quincy Owusu-Abiyi that really caught the eye. Vinny O'Connor, Sky Sports.
The problem is they're just too good. An average age of 19, not a household name among them, and still they dismantled Everton. Thomas Gravesen's deflected free kick got the visitors off to a flyer, but the clear blue water swiftly turned red as the barely blooded Arsenal kids flew at their battle-hardened opponents. All speed and strength and guile, there's so much promise in their ranks. Quincy Owusu-Abiyi, the 18-year-old from Amsterdam, was having the time of his life, scoring the first, then filleting the Everton spine. Tony Hibbert, Thomas Gravesen, Alan Stubbs, all discarded. The ball laid off to Robin van Persie, to Arturo Lupoli. A goal forged on the same training ground as Vieira, Pires and Henry. The 17-year-old Italian, signed in the summer from Parma, looks to be another Wenger gem. Again, it was Quincy who provided the impetus, and again, it was Lupoli with the nerveless finish. But as anyone who knows football will tell you, you can't win anything with kids.
Final lineup is possible after the draw for the last 8. 5 capital clubs still involved. All 4 of the Premiership's Champions League representatives are there, and only Watford from the Coca-Cola League. But it's fair to say their meeting with Portsmouth isn't quite the tie of the round.
Let's talk about that tie of the round, shall we, Clive? Just how impressed were you by Arsenal's youngsters?
Well, they've got an exceptional crop of young players, obviously playing together regularly in the reserves and giving the odd run out in the Carling Cup, and they showed what potential they have for the future.
Let's savour those goals once again, shall we, and just talk us through them.
Well, I think this young man, Owusu-Abiyi, he really is so very, very quick. I've seen him a couple of times, see him score a hat-trick against West Ham in the reserves, and he's taken that onto this stage. I think Arsene Wenger gradually introduced them, and they seem to just flourish, and Lupoli, free scoring in the reserves as well. There's now a double on the evening, but the way that they pass, move, their interplay, absolutely first class. And again, you see here, he looks as if he's not involved, but then just makes a little 2-yard move, slides it into the bottom corner. Exceptional play from this young crop of players.
If you were Wenger, would you keep them for the game against Manchester United?
It's a very interesting one. I think perhaps it will depend on the position they're in the Premiership, but at the moment, I think it would be fascinating for everybody to see maybe the up-and-coming youngsters of Arsenal against those of Manchester United.
They are quite fantastic. I don't want to be a killjoy at this point, but just how worried would you be about, say, the English production line of players, looking at the vast talents of continental players coming over?
Well, I think the thing is that certainly the introduction of the foreign players has raised the bar at Arsenal in particular, but they do have some very, very talented English players. Young Justin Hoyt played, David Bentley, we mustn't forget, is out on loan at Norwich City, and he's obviously gaining experience there in the Premiership. So there is opportunities for homegrown English talent as well.
And that certainly happens. Send Wenger ahead of the North London derby this weekend.
Well, you never speculate at our level to any weakness of your opponent. You expect always your opponent to be at your best and consequently prepare like that. You know, you face on the day, no matter what kind of problems Tottenham have, there will always be up for it, and we know we can win when we're up for it and play at our best, our game.
Looked quite relaxed, didn't he? Martin, you're presumably similarly relaxed at the moment.
Yes, I think Martin's and everybody at the club, we always look forward to, you know, the North London derby against Arsenal. They are a fabulous team, there's absolutely no doubt about that. Perhaps not in the best of form that we know they're capable of, so we feel we have an opportunity to get a good result this weekend.
Have you already noticed any changes at the club since the changes of last week?
There's been some subtle little changes. Obviously now Martin is in control of the day-to-day affairs and the training regime of the club. So yes, there's some subtle changes, but really there's the continuity because the players know him, and they've slipped straight back into their working day.
Quick fire. Who you played with?
Gaza, no doubt at all.
Best save you made?
Sheffield United semi-final at Old Trafford.
Most memorable of your 75 caps?
The ones during Euro 96.
Most influential person in your career?
Bob Wilson.
Football idol when you were a kid?
David Harvey and Bruce Grobbelaar.
Most memorable moment for Arsenal?
Any of the doubles.
Well, David, centre forwards miss chances all the time and they're not remembered because, you know, you score 3 goals and you miss 5, it doesn't matter because you've scored. But as a goalkeeper, you make a mistake, that's what you're going to be remembered for. Do you feel that, having been fantastic servant for England and Arsenal, that, you know, a lot, particularly late on, a lot was made of the mistakes that you made? Too much was made of it?
A lot, yeah. Well, I feel it was too much made, you know, but goalkeepers make mistakes. No matter how good you are, you will make a mistake. You know, sometimes it'll be high profile, sometimes you'll get away with it and side will win. You know, but if you make a mistake and it costs you the game, then you're going to get remembered.
From an England point of view, are you a bit worried with the lack of Premiership goalkeepers at English teams?
Yeah, I'm worried about the English goalkeepers in the Premiership because, you know, there's not many of them, full stop. But what we have got is a lot of youngsters coming through, you know, that are slowly gaining experience through playing in the Premier League and also playing against a lot of foreign players as well, you know, so they're gaining experience all the time. And it is a bit concerning, but with what we've got, I'm quite happy with.
And David James obviously lost his space to Paul Robinson for the last few games.
Yeah.
Would you say Paul Robinson is now the #1 goalkeeper?
Yeah, I would, because he's got the gloves or the jersey or whatever you want to say it. But, you know, David made a mistake, got dropped. You know, now Paul's in there. And I'm sure that if Paul makes a mistake, Sven won't worry about dropping him either, you know. But then it's who he puts back in. You know, David's not said he's going to retire from international football. So he's putting the pressure on, saying that he wants to get back in the side. And there's a few other goalkeepers
Chris
like
Kirkland,
that.
of course, at
Chris
Liverpool.
Kirkland's coming through.
I'm allowed to mention
Fingers
Liverpool
crossed.
because you didn't really want to mention Liverpool. But,
fingers crossed he stays away from injury, you know. And, you know, he's got a great future ahead of him.
Top 3 things you miss?
The cash. Martin Keown's banter. And match day, really.
Top 3 things you don't miss?
Martin Keown's banter. Picking the papers up in the morning after a game, see what else they're saying about you. And training Monday mornings. Monday was hard for me.
Right, David, Arsenal season so far. They've had a fantastic start. Unfortunately lost to Manchester United. And since then, they've, I won't say hit the brick wall, but the confidence seems to be not be there. And what do you make of that situation?
I'd say that it's not as much confidence. I think there's still quite a bit there. But it's just a little hiccup as far as I'm concerned. It's, what is it? It's a loss of 2 draws. And for me, that's not a worry, really.
But after the 49 games unbeaten, and of course you lose to Man United, which is easy to do, we really expected them in the game after the Manchester United game, but as you say, the loss and 2 draws are in the last 3 games, you think, and Campbell's now injured.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be a big factor?
No, losing Sol is a big factor, yeah, but they've got, you know, good enough replacements, but you know, when you've seen how they've played and all that sort of thing, it's just waiting, you know, it's waiting for when they're going to get another bagful.
Right, Arsenal have put themselves into a bit of a financial burden with a new stadium, and as we know, success is the most important thing. Do you think they can maintain that success with regards having to because of the financial burden they put themselves in?
Yeah, I can see that because they've got so many fans that are wanting to get into Highbury, so I don't think that will be a problem. And then when you look at the team and the squad, you know, and the squad, and then even the kids as well, you know, it's just...
The kids who played the other night.
Yeah, exactly.
9 of them under 21. Yeah. They put on a great performance.
And it's frightening, you know, and they go out there on a big stage where sometimes, you know, like normally you'd expect a youngster like that to freeze or, you know, get overawed or whatever. They just get on with it and
But they're like a carbon copy of the first team in terms of the way they play. Does Arsenal have all the teams playing the same way from the first team down to the reserve down to the youth team? Does he oversee everything?
I would imagine so, yeah. But you know, what happens a lot is that the youth team will watch the first team train. You know, the youth team will probably go out earlier one day, you know, and train in the morning, and then they'll come and watch the first team at, say, about 11 o'clock or half 11. And then they watch them, and then they see how they play, you know, with the one touch or two touch, you know. Yeah. They're always demanding one or two touches, so that then they know that they can make a run, you know.
And they know they can also step up into the first team and do what's required of them in the first team.
Yeah.
But what would happen in a few years' time if some of these players, like Lupoli, for example, who scored a couple the other night, and if he feels he's not being given a chance in the first team in coming years, maybe, do you think it'll be difficult for them to keep hold of them?
Yeah, but that's down to Arsene, you know, how he, you know, gives them games and then pulls them out, puts them in, pulls them out. You know, it's that's a manager's job. But you know, like, it is hard. You know, once you get a taste of it, you always want it. But at a club like Arsenal, it's a great club. The training pitches are fantastic. You know, and the training ground is fantastic. You know, so it's a great place to play your football. You know, it's not until you leave the club that you realise how good it is.
Is it a good time to be playing Tottenham with the manager changing? Obviously, Martin Jol came in. They lost at home to Charlton, but they had a good win at Burnley.
Yeah.
Is this a good time to be playing Tottenham?
It could
a good time to be playing Arsenal?
Yeah, both ways, you know. But sometimes what happens when he changes a manager or they have a new signing or something, it spurs them on to like to, you know, to play better. But you know, for me, every time I see Arsenal, I just think they're playing great. I just want them to win, especially in a derby like this.
You've played in many of these derbies. This is the atmosphere. Yeah. Of course, I've played in derbies as well, but never a North London derby. Yeah. How did you do in more often than not?
It's strange because there's a lot of hatred between the fans, you know, and not so much between the players, which is like the normal thing anyway, isn't it? But you know, there's you know, they do get a little bit naughty, but you know, they're massive games. But you know, I think the gap seems to have got bigger though between Arsenal and Tottenham, because like when I first joined Arsenal, they were level pegging as to which was a bigger club. You know, and since then Arsenal have gone on to, you know, much bigger and better things. But a derby is anybody's game. You know, it's like when you look at Man United played City the other night or the other day, and you know, Man United was all over them, but they couldn't score. You know, a derby's a special, and it brings something out in you.
Well, here's a sight we haven't seen for a while. Arsenal second by 2 points to Chelsea, who are wearing great guns. And we're very fortunate to have the Barclays Premier League trophy. And that's what they're playing for, Paul. And it's quite impressive and very heavy.
Yeah,
not like the old one, a little bit light, but
yeah,
that's very impressive.
First time I've seen it is impressive, I've got to say, yeah.
What's going wrong with Arsenal? I mean, by their own standards from last year, they're second in the league. We won't say they had a bit of a hiccup, but in the last 3 games, they've you know, stumbled a bit.
I think it was such a massive build-up to the Manchester United-Arsenal game, and I thought Alex Ferguson was brilliant in a way, built the game up. He made it into a battle. He tried to take some of the football out of it and made it into a battle. And Manchester United won the battle. And rather than Arsenal looking back and saying, what an absolutely brilliant run, we've had 49 games, it seemed to affect them with the aftermath and all went after the game. And maybe they lost their concentration a little bit. Maybe it did dent their confidence slightly. And they've had a couple of draws, apart from the loss. I don't see that as a disaster, and they've got so much quality. As we've seen the other night with some of the younger kids that are coming through as well, it's just a fantastic club. And listening to David Seaman in the interview, they've got so many good things going for them, and I don't call a loss and 2 draws
well, if you do, you talk about the loss and the 2 draws, Anthony, if you have a look at the last 6 games, they've had some surprising results, shall we say. Of course, you know, they've won in the Cup, but Crystal Palace and Southampton, 2 shock results.
Yeah, but you see, I agree with Paul. I think there's been an overreaction. And we always say this when a club which is so dominant loses one game and has a couple of draws. But if you look at that, they've also got a couple of wins. And ironically, they've won with playing their youth side. So if their youth team can beat the 3rd place Everton so convincingly, I don't think people should be worried about the future of Arsenal, immediate or long term.
But do you feel that maybe it plays on Arsenal's mind because they went 49 games unbeaten, they were fantastic? And after losing to Manchester United, they look a different team. Okay, they've only lost they've lost 1 and drawn 2, but they look a different team in terms of the way they play.
I think psychologically it's just affected them a little bit, and I'm sure once they get that next victory, they'll just move on, put it behind them, and they'll be the Arsenal that we've been watching for the 49 games, you know, that they were winning game after game. And I'm sure that'll come sooner rather than later. I think they just need to put the whole episode behind them. The thing that worries me a little bit, Arsenal, is how they sometimes struggle in the Champions League. That baffles me a little bit more and concerns me. Again, I think it's psychological, the fact that everyone keeps telling them that, you know, they have problems in Europe. But They're such a great, talented team. I'm sure that they're going to come through.
Well, regardless of the Champions League, if you look at the Premiership odds, the bookies aren't too perturbed by their plight because they still are joint favourites with Chelsea, which is about right. Do you feel Man United will be out of it now 14-1, or that will be that worth a few
they can't
pounds?
keep slipping up, United, can they? I mean, you keep, had that great result against Arsenal and they go down to Portsmouth and lose. And they can't keep making those types of mistakes if they're going to cling on to those two at the top there. They need to have a fantastic run and play with bundles of confidence and get all their strikers on the score sheet and start pummeling teams that they're capable of doing, but they keep slipping up, which is unusual for them.
Well, maybe Arsenal could get there. I won't say the season back on track because they are a fantastic side, but this Saturday Arsenal v Tottenham.
I mean, that's the sort of game which they'll be up for, and in a way it is a good time to play Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham will be wanting to impress the new coach, but I think this is the game that will get Arsenal back on track. Anyway, the game that they did lose to Man United, it really was down to dodgy refereeing, and I think at the end of it they went 49 games unbeaten. That run has to come to an end sometime.
Well, in the head-to-head, they've only won. Tottenham won one in the last 18.
Yeah.
So that could be a telltale. Although they do have to win sometime. But do you think it's going to be this Saturday?
No. Yeah. Well,
you do you?
I'd like to say so because I think it's good that Arsenal and Chelsea should lose a few games and we should see a third team emerging. But it's not going to happen, is it?
No, but that's what you would like to see. What is actually? I can't see Arsenal losing. If Tottenham get a point out of it, I think it'll be a great result. They've lost 4 on the spin. Their confidence can't be high. Yeah. They've got turmoil in the background at the club. They've just sorted that out. Hopefully they will now get a little bit of consistency. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to start against Arsenal.
Well, we saw one of Arsenal's great stalwarts there, and we do have to mention his DVD Jeepers Keepers, David Seaman. And if you remember, one thing he missed about football was cash.
Oh, get out there and buy that now then.
He was very fortunate because he actually $14.99 he charged me for this today, actually.
Did you have the penny?
I thought I was going to get it free, but he said he does miss cash, so therefore I have to actually pay him for this. But nevertheless, I don't think you're going to be in this, though, are you, Walshy?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Cole believes Arsenal can put their recent patchy form behind them when they take on rivals Tottenham on Saturday. Cole is also confident Arsenal will win the Championship again this season, but adds it's far from a two-horse race with Chelsea.
We've had a few disappointing games, so I think it's definitely a game for us to come back and hopefully get a victory. We know it's going to be really tough, but as I said, I think this is one of the games that can push us on. If we get a good result out of this, then hopefully it's a step forward.
You mentioned those recent games. I think it's 2 points from 3 games. Can you put your finger on why that's happened?
No, I think it was all going so well. We was unbeaten, and then of course we had the game at Old Trafford and we lost. But again, we're not focused on that now. That's over. We've had a bad run, and hopefully we can turn it around on Saturday afternoon. They've got a lot of great players, and it's going to be hard to mark Defoe. Whoever plays up front, King, Canute, so it's going to be a tough game. But said if we get our game right, then I don't see why we can't get a good result. I think you never write off Man United and Liverpool. Teams are playing well, and hopefully we've got to try and maintain our form as well, because as I said, we dipped a bit. But if we get that back on track, then I don't see why we can't win it. Yeah?